Hi there and welcome to Entertainment Stop. Ben and James coming at you with another video, and today we're going to discuss the pilot episode, or the very first episode of 2.5 Men. Now, a quick synopsis of the actual show, and I've taken this from Amazon Prime's version of it. A commercial jingle writer, Charlie Harper, is a wealthy bachelor with a house at the beach, a Jaguar in the garage, and an easy way with women. But his Malibu lifestyle is interrupted when his uptight chiropractor brother arrives unexpectedly with his son after being kicked out by his wife. Now, this show stars Charlie Sheen as a character called Charlie Harper, John Cryer as Alan Harper, his brother, Angus T. Jones as the kid, basically, Jake Harper, and Blythe Danner as Evelyn Harper, who's the mother. So right off the bat, Ben, full disclosure on this one, I genuinely didn't think I was going to like it. I've seen 2.5 Men before, or at least little bits of it, and I've just thought, oh my God, this show. How is this written by the same person that wrote The Big Bang Theory, for example?
It's Chuck Lorre, isn't it?
Chuck Lorre. I never know how to pronounce his name. Is it Chuck Lorre?
Chuck Lorre, who's also done Mom, as they say in America.
Never heard of it.
So he's done 3 comedies, 2 are successful, and 1 not so.
Well, so this is his new show, and this show is so 2003 it hurts in regards to the way the characters look, you know, the way they're dressed.
Well, it was in 2003.
I know, and I was trying to figure out when it was actually filmed, because I was looking at it and I was like, what is going on with their the way, you know, his clothes that he's wearing, Charlie's clothes.
Yeah.
So you know, you're pushing more towards the 90s than.
Yeah, it does. It looks 90s, doesn't it?
Yeah. It almost looked Friends-like in the way that Charlie's shirts were and things like that. But we'll get onto that. We'll discuss the characters individually and then see how they melded and fused into the episode. So, number one character straight off the bat, Charlie Harper, played by Charlie Sheen. And now I've got a few notes on this guy. So he's like the ultimate bachelor.
Yes, it's not. His lifestyle is living alone, plenty of women, and the more women the better.
Well, that's it. So you're right. He's at the start we see him with his girlfriend, or whoever the woman is at the time, I guess.
Yes.
And you know, she's showing off her lacy underwear that he's about to see. And then we get a phone call from an ex-girlfriend who turns out to be a stalker, and that's like a underlying theme throughout the episode. But this girlfriend that he's with in the house is almost as selfish as he is, in the fact that she just wants that physical thing with him. She's not actually interested in having a full-on relationship.
What I love is, we don't really get the name of this girl, I don't think. But what happens? She hears this answer machine message, and she's not remotely bothered.
No,
she just takes the word to herself.
He's very blasé about it. She's very blasé about it, and then they just get back to business. He's rich.
Yes.
Or it seems like he's rich and he's successful. But his job is basically a jingle writer. As he states to the kid later on in the episode, he's hardly, you know, writing classic rock or anything like that. He's just writing rubbish, crappy little jingles for like breakfast cereals. But it seems to be making the money for him. He doesn't have much in common with his brother Alan.
Nothing.
They're like complete opposites when it comes to the look of them and the way they act.
Well, I like how we first meet. We don't meet Alan first. We just get this voice message from Alan, and because we get another answer machine message, and this is when we get to know that Charlie's a womanizer, because he immediately thinks it's somebody else.
He's ready to cut it off. He's like got his finger over the cancel button.
He very much reminds me of Sam Malone from Cheers.
Yeah.
He's panicking. There's no room.
And then he finds out his brother, and his brother asks to stay with him, doesn't he?
Yeah, so, but he thinks that he says he can come reluctantly.
it can come reluctantly, and Charlie thinks that he's got about half an hour to an hour to get back to doing what he's doing, and then he just walks through the bedroom door. So he's out. He's been outside basically, and it's like a running joke in the show. Charlie asks him how he got into his house.
It turns out it's like a fake rock.
He leaves on the doorstep instead of with another pile of rocks.
Yes.
And his idea behind that is he's never going to be able to find it in a pile of rocks when he's drunk, which he is about 90% of the time.
Yes.
So it's quite good. And so he's got this really strange relationship with his brother Alan because of the fact they are polar opposites. One is like free living, quite loose, and the other one's rigid, and we'll get onto that. And he doesn't really have much to do with his nephew Jake. So when he's on about how it must be, when Alan's on about how it must be hard for Jake, to not be with his mum. Charlie says, "Yeah, it's quite tough on teenagers," and Alan's like, "He's 8 or 10 years old or something like that."
Well, that's it. We find out that Alan is there because his wife has kicked him out, basically.
Yeah.
But Charlie just expects him to be there for a day at most, so then he can get back to do what he's doing.
He does, but they're there for a little while anyway.
Yes.
And like every waking moment, he's got like this kid around him, and it's seeing that dynamic between him who's never had kids and this kid that's not really had much to do with his uncle, and they're getting to know each other, and it's a feeling out process.
We first meet Jake where the camera's just Jake. We first meet Jake when Charlie's been sleeping the night, and he opens his eyes, and that's the first person he sees.
Yeah, Jake's just like staring straight over him.
Yes.
And then the first thing he mentions is how he looks awful. Like, yes. He's just instantly there with an unintentional insult, and Charlie's like, "Well, you'd have red eye too if you'd been drinking all night."
So then this kid finally forces him to get up because he's bugging him, and he finds out that Alan and his wife are in the living room trying to talk things about him.
So he takes him out for breakfast, yes. And accidentally tells him that his parents are splitting up. But then, to be fair, Jake knew that something was going on. He's smarter than than he's given credit for. He says to Charlie, "My parents splitting up," and then Jake says, "Yeah," and then Charlie says, "Yeah," and then Alan comes out and says, "Oh, it's best to keep quiet about us splitting up. We've not told him yet." So there's that awkward moment. Well,
before that, though, we have this scene in the supermarket where Jake's trying to tell Charlie that what stereos he likes, and then this woman comes up to Charlie, and Charlie suddenly realises that having a kid around might not be a bad thing for his love life.
Well, this is where he starts to see the usefulness of him. So again, there's that selfish thing where what's in it for him, and what's in it for him is the fact that he can utilise him to pull women, basically.
Yes. So you can see the brain start to come.
The cogs are turning.
This might not be half bad.
So we've kind of established there. I mean, they established right off the bat Charlie is like quite selfish. He's a bit of a womanizer. He's a bit of an alcoholic. He's got awful dress sense.
Yeah, he dresses. You're right, but do you know how he dresses? If you've ever seen Friends in the first couple, he dresses like Chandler Bing.
He does.
That's exactly what
he wears these awful shirts with these big collars and like shorts because he lives down by the beach. So he'll wear like shorts with like socks pulled all the way up, like white socks pulled all the way up. It just looks awful.
He does, but he's not bothered.
He's not bothered because he doesn't care, and he gets all the ladies, so he's not really he doesn't care less. And then you've got, like as we said earlier, you've got John Cryer, who plays Alan Harper's brother, who's like the polar opposite of Charlie. He's rigid, he's inflexible or unflexible. He likes rules and regulations. He's neurotic about things, so about his relationship with his wife. And even down to the fact that his job couldn't be more different than Charlie's. So whereas Charlie's like a jingle writer, John's a chiropractor, so an academic type of character.
Yes.
And when I say neurotic, he still believes in his heart of hearts for some reason that him and his wife are going to get back together. And he's very practical in the fact that he wants to make lists, and he's very
we get two scenes. One where she's telling him. We get one at Charlie's house when he's trying to figure out. He wants to make a list.
Yeah, so he wants to make a list of the pros and cons of their marriage, basically.
And I can't remember the exact line, but his wife basically tells him that he's the most overbearing individual.
And he just casually says, well, maybe we'll just put that in the negative
column. But it was such a horrible line. I can't remember that line.
She's so cutting to him.
It was so horrible.
She just she just comes out and says basically that she hates him.
Yes.
Or really, really, really dislikes him. And and he still thinks that even though she really, really, really dislikes him or hates him, that there's still a chance. So because he's clutching at straws, he just tells her to put it in the negative column, and then we'll work on the positives.
Yes, it's just you can immediately see that she doesn't want to hurt him, but it's almost as if she'd lived with this pent up thing for years that she's finally.
He's driven her to this point. In fact, he's driven her, as we find out later, to turn gay.
Well, yeah, but then this is the second scene we have between the two, where Alan thinks they've had quite a few days apart, but it turns out it's only been like 2 or 3 days.
And he thinks they're going to get back together.
But the one line I've grown.
I've grown in 2 or 3 days. She says one of the reasons that she didn't want to be with him anymore is because he was so overbearing. And then he grabs a napkin, dabs it on his tongue, and then wipes her face with it because she's got something on her face.
After that, she's getting quite antsy, so she finally tells him that she's a lesbian.
And then that's when he comes up again. We'll look at we'll make a list. Lesbian or straight.
He's still in denial,
Massively in denial, and believes that they're still going to work it out, but it doesn't happen. She wants out of the relationship. He goes home. He's already in a bad mood, and then he finds Jake and Charlie playing poker with Charlie's friends in a smoke-filled room, and Charlie's got a hand in winning $80 or whatever, and he just loses it.
Yeah, and it turns out that Jake is quite a little poker player.
Well, he's quite a little poker player, and he's got some good little lines in the show.
And again, this is another moment where Charlie reckons that he's on to a winner. Having a child for it might not be that bad.
Again, he's just saying the positives in the fact that he can utilize him to win hands of poker. He can utilize him to score with the ladies. He's seeing the positive things of having it, and he's starting to like the kid as well.
Yes. And what were they look at? Rose.
Is that the Rose is the woman? The woman that sends the message at the start, isn't she, on the
yeah.
phone? And she's this stalker ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. And I think one of the best bits I've seen in comedy is just her climbing up the balcony.
It's just like something out of I don't know, Revenge of the Body Snatchers or something. She's just like climbing. Alan's just sat in the living room, and just behind, through the glass doors, you can see behind him this woman just like wrenching herself up.
But do you know what? Like, it's not easy for her. They don't just make her climb over the top of the. You have to see the area. She's having to go for it.
It's quite funny. And then she pretends she's the housekeeper, and turns out she's obsessed with him. Not with Alan, but with Charlie. And she comes in and smells it, tries to smell his musk, as she calls it.
Yes, but then she tries to see if Alan's got the same sort of scent, and she realizes that she hasn't.
And she like just gives him short shrift.
But we finally realise she's bonkers. It turns out later in the episode that she's glued all the cabinets together.
And it's when they're discussing that, and she's glued all the cabinets together, that we meet. They're basically arguing. Alan and Charlie are arguing about it and why let her in and things like that.
You're letting in my house.
Yeah, why do you, another one in the house? And then the mother. That's where we're introduced to the mother, as they're arguing. Their mother, who's this overbearing, domineering mother, and she loves Alan, because he's this goody two shoes character that's done everything she's said, and she almost despises and has massive contempt for Charlie because he lives this ill-disciplined lifestyle.
Again, I don't know why you wouldn't have seen this before, but if you haven't, it's basically the relationship that Monica has with her parents and friends, where Ross is the one that is loved, and Monica is just the one that happens to be a chef.
Yeah, so he's the academic and Monica's not, and it's exactly the same. You're right. It's quite a similar. I didn't realize how many similarities there were to Friends in this. But there really are. And you know, Alan can do no wrong, and she wants Alan to come and live with him, and that's when they agree to Alan to live with him. But again, there's another funny line where Charlie goes, "How did you get in my house?" Everyone just seems to be able to let themselves into his house. he just doesn't understand how all these people are just wandering into his house without a key.
It's quite funny, it really is.
It's quite funny, and then they do go and live with her, and that's when Charlie has this this epiphany that he misses. He doesn't so much miss his brother Alan. He misses his nephew Jake.
He misses the sort of things that Jake can bring to him.
Bring to his party, so to say.
Yes. But I love the fact that he's not trying to make it sound like it's his idea or anything. He's telling Alan that Jake's not in a very good environment.
Yeah, so he doesn't feel like and I think he believes that he doesn't think his mother's a very good mother, does he?
No.
Very nurturing, and she doesn't come across as very nurturing. As I said, she's quite domineering. You see her apartment or her house, and it's the most. Everything has to be just so in the house. There's not one thing out of place, and he's explaining to Alan that he wants them to come and live with him. And he says, "Well, actually, I want Jake to come and live with me, but I feel like you two are a package deal, so I'm willing to let you come and stay as well."
She's that overbearing that she won't even let him sit down on the couch.
Yeah, so I don't know where they're supposed to sit. And then Jake comes in and says, "Oh, Uncle Charlie," and he basically only says it like with a slight raised voice, it's not even loud. And she goes, "Now, what did we say about shouting in the house?"
Yeah.
So again, it's just hammering home again, the character traits, and that's what this pilot does. It just almost whacks you over the head with their character, and again, I know that's what a lot of pilots do to establish the character arc straight away, but this really whacks you over the head with it.
But what this does very well is you're not gonna have episodes after this that you don't know what the characters are about. This episode just basically gives you the whole kit and caboodle in one.
And what's interesting is, even though Charlie looks like he's got the greatest life, his life is quite unfulfilled.
He almost comes across as like depressed.
Well, he must be for all the drinking that he does. I mean, he went out for breakfast and with some with Jake, and he was supposed to be drinking this like tomato juice, but he decided to top it up with like a bottle of lager instead.
Yeah, but that is almost what endears the character. He's flawed
massively.
He's not the perfect sitcom character even.
And as I said at the start, I was genuinely dreading this. When you suggested this, I was like, "Oh my god, it's just I can't deal with this show." Because I must have just seen the stuff with Ashton Kutcher or something like that. I mustn't have seen that. And now I understand, even just after watching the first episode, why people really like this show. It is a likable show.
Well, let me tell you what this is. This is 22 minutes. As long as you don't think too hard.
Well, that's not an issue on this show.
You can have 22 minutes and just have a few laughs.
You can. There's quite a few channels, and even though I was watching it by myself, I did find myself, like it's sometimes you don't laugh out loud when you're watching stuff by yourselves. You might chuckle a little bit, but internally, but if you've got other people in the room, their laughter's infectious. Well, I didn't need that today. I was watching it by myself, and I found it funny that I laughed out loud at certain points.
I watched this. I think I watched this first a few years ago, and I didn't find it funny at all. But for some reason, this time round, it was
I know what
quite
it
good.
is. Maybe I won't like the show going forward. Maybe I'll find it irritating or something like that. But I genuinely enjoyed the first episode.
But certainly for this pilot, it makes me want to go and check out a couple more episodes.
Why not? So that would be my suggestion to you. Have you got any other points that you want to make about the show or about the pilot?
Not really, just the fact that before people think it's quite a basic pilot. You got your main characters, you got your A and B story, but just because it's basic, it doesn't mean that it's not any good.
No, exactly. So go and watch it. That it's on Amazon Prime Instant Video or whatever the heck it's called this week.
Well, it is here in the UK.
It's here in the UK.
It's probably on Netflix in the US.
Probably. Well, whatever. It's going to be on a streaming service, isn't it? And it's probably on repeats on some channels. So recommended by me.
Or if you're that desperate, you could always Google it.
Could always Google it and find out an illegal stream if that's what you're into. Not that we condone that.
Not that we could condone that.
Condone that. We'd never condone that for legal purposes.
Yes. Good.
Okay. So yeah, recommended. If you liked this video and liked our sort of brief explanation of the characters in the show, then think about giving the show or our video a thumbs up. Think about subscribing to the channel. The more subscribers, the better, because more people will watch our content. We do enjoy making the content, but it's always nice to make it for more people rather than only one or two people, even though we thank you for watching anyway.
We're very grateful.
Very, very grateful. And just like somebody did the other day, leave a comment in the comment section below as to what you want us. Cheers, bro. What you want us to look at next. And Ben, where can people find you?
At Ironside 1982.
And you can find me at James Allen U on Twitter. Any other points, Ben?
No, but I think next week we're going to be tackling Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine, yeah, I think we will. That was a suggestion from one of our viewers, so looking forward to doing that. And before my dogs start kicking off, thanks very much for watching.